Hi, very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us today in B-TIC Talk. Today's topic is about the reading Redefined, and I'm Hazir here. So I'm trying to bring you certain important messages on reading tonight. All of us, we have uh, years of experience in learning, in reading things, but I'm going to bring you certain different techniques and strategies that can make your life in a different chapter. Look at these books. You may be a student of law, you may be a student of business, you may be a student studying social science, psychology, medicine, engineering, whatever you study. Your professors will recommend you lots of texts to read. There are so many books to read, there are so many journals to read, and there are heavy reading materials in the list you have to complete before you complete your assignments. So reading is so important to complete your studies. On the other side of it, reading is important to solve your problem. If you are looking about happiness, you may read about happiness. If you are talking about seducing a girl, you can read about seduction. If you're talking about relationship, you can read about relationship. Read about 5, 6 books on the topic that you wanted to, then you would master in that. If you want money, read about money. If you want to build a business, read about a business. If you want to find a job, read about that. If you want to migrate to some other country, read about that. So reading is about getting your capacity, developing your competencies to what you really want to do. So you should read. Now, the problem is where to read, what to read, how many things to read. If you go to Google to read one topic, you would definitely get millions of results on one single Googling. Can I read all of those? How can I read? How many can I read? Are they all applied to me? These are the questions that you have to answer. Now, look at this. People, they read for many reasons. And these people here, I have brought in 4 key people in the world. All of us, we know Mr. Warren Buffett, Mr. Bill Gates, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk. All are rich guys, all are business people. They all read for a reason. They never read things just in case. They never read randomly. They read for a reason. Now, you see, Mr. Warren Buffett, he reads about 5 to 6 hours in his office, and he reads about 5 newspapers daily. Okay, that is his work schedule. You see, he is in the office for about 8 or 10 hours. Out of that, he reads more than half of his time with the books. He reads. Elon Musk, he completed reading encyclopedia when he was 9 years of age. Bill Gates, he reads about 50 books a year. He reads about business, health, and engineering. And 50 books means every week he completes 100. If you take Mark Zuckerberg, he reads about culture, backgrounds of different societies from different part of the world. He reads about African culture, he reads about Asian culture, and he reads about the other continents' culture as well. Every single country in the world, every corner where people live, they have culture, and he reads about those because to put them in his Facebook to make his money. He reads a lot. An average person, he reads about 2 books a year. An average CEO reads about 4 to 6 books a month. So you can understand how important it is to read to be a successful person. And the question for you, how about you? Do you read? And do you read for any reason? Do you read that for entertainment or for some other different reason? Look at this. People, they read books. If you go to a library, you randomly pick one book and you read. That is what I'm calling just in case you read. You read randomly. Those things cannot benefit you in many opportunities because you cannot get benefit out of what you read, but you can read certain things specifically. You can get benefit out of it. That is important. Selective reading. Don't read what you get. Read really what you want. When you open your Facebook in the morning, when you open your WhatsApp account in the morning, you would see lots of text messages sent to you. Most of them are irrelevant to you. You know, at the moment, we are talking about Russian-Ukrainian war. We are talking about the political instability in Britain. We are talking about the T20 World Cup in Australia. We are talking about FIFA Football World Cup in Qatar. Are they all important to you? Are you reading this? If you don't have a valid reason, we don't have any benefit out of this, don't read those, because it is what I'm calling the just in case reading. That is what I'm calling random reading. It doesn't bring anything to you. Otherwise, do you need money? Read about money. Do you want to complete one of your assignments? Read about that subject. Okay, because it is what I'm calling just in time. Whatever you wanted to read, whatever you want to get benefit out of it, read those things. Don't read things because you just saw that. Okay, right. Now let's see. When I say reading continuously, read, you have a question how to read. A book is so thick, so hard, too wordy, too many words in the book, and it may take longer time to complete. Absolutely not. Let me give you the formula, the mechanism or the mathematics of reading. To read a book, if you read about 45 minutes a day, you will be able to read one book a week. 45 minutes a day reading, you will be able to complete one book a week. I'll tell you the mathematics of it. An average book has about 6,400 words, average book. The average speed of a very basic personnel, untrained personnel, he can read about 200 words a minute. There are people I have heard, they can read about 1,500 words a minute, meaning they can read about 3 full pages or more within 1 minute. We don't worry about that, then people. We worry about only these average personnel, 200 words a minute. If you read 200 words a minute, to read this 6,400 words of a book, you need about 320 minutes per book. If you calculate the hours of it, it is about 5.5 hours. And if you distribute this 5.5 hours for 7 days, it is almost about 45 minutes a day. Then you'll be able to complete one book. Very simple. 45 minutes means in a day that goes like a flash. So schedule your time. When you're reading it, let me share some of those strategies that we could use. When you read a book, the book we read that has lots of messages which you don't need to know. You don't need to spend time on. It's like a supermarket. When you go to a supermarket, you go around the aisles of all the areas, and there are aisles for separate different things. There is an aisle for confectionery where you can buy chocolates and biscuits. There is an aisle for toiletries where you can buy soaps and shampoos. There's an aisle that is for vegetables. There's another one that is for ice cream and sweet items. There's another one that's for bakery. There's another one for vegetables and fruits. Now, if you want to buy a bread, when you walk inside the supermarket, you don't go aisles by aisles to check whether there is any vegetable. What you do, you straight away walk down to the vegetable aisles and you pick your vegetable and you walk off. Simple. You don't waste your time going to confectionery to have a look at what's happening in confectionery, and finally you go to the vegetable store and you take the vegetable. No. The same way, if you want to read a book, the book has many information. Most of them, it may not be necessary to you, and some of them are what you are looking for. So what you do, you focus to that, you go to that, and you pick only what you really want. So you can cut your time short. If you take a book, if you are looking for some message and that message is there, and you go to that message only, you don't need to go everywhere to pick the stuffs. That is where you waste your time. So read a book, read what you really want in a book so you can finish your book very quick. Number two, I would love to tell you here, when you read a book, I always prefer to read a physical book, but these days that is outdated. You don't get physical books and they're all expensive as well. You don't carry a big bunch of book with you all the times. You carry a small little Kindle or maybe an iPad or maybe a phone with you with a Kindle account or some other, and you see any book you want to. There are so many options. So when you're reading it, you have to touch your lines with your fingers. You move your reading with your fingers. If you do that, you won't miss your look at the lines and you would go faster. When you train your fingers to move faster on the line, you would definitely move your eyes faster on the line so that you can make the reading speeder faster. Okay, if you don't have an option to move your fingers, use a pen. If it is a book, you can use a pen to go line by line. You move the pen fast and you follow that speed with the eyes, and you can pick the words easily. And on the other side, if you read that in a computer, you have the mouse pointer. What you do, you move your mouse pointer on the line and you move your mouse pointer faster as possible so that you can move faster while you move your mouse, you can read it faster. So these are all one training that you could give to your eyes, and you can easily pick the speed. Now, another idea here is we call it perceptual expansion. What is this? Today, England won 2020 World Cup in Australia. Okay, England won the 2022 World Cup today in Australia. That's the sentence. To read this sentence, there are 9 words in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words. Okay, 9 words. If you read the middle 3 words, okay, you can get the meaning of it, because you look at your eyes. When you look using your eyes to some area here, you would see another 1/3 of that area on both sides is visible to your eyes. You look at this red color line here, 2022 World Cup. When you look at it, you would see 3 words on the right side and 3 words on the left side as well. You only read the middle part, but you will catch the meaning of all 9 words. In other words, if you have a page to read, if you read the middle part of it, you would see the right side and the left side of the whole page easily. So you only read 1/3 of it, but you get the meaning of the whole lot. Okay, this is actually challenging. If you read initially, you have to train yourself to read this way. If you can read this middle part, you will be able to understand what is on the side of both. People suggest, speed readers, they suggest, when you have a sentence, you don't read the first 3 letters of it or the first 3 the words of it. You read the next words, and you never read the last 3 words of the sentence. You read the middle part of it, and you will get the meaning of the whole sentence. And some authors, some readers, they suggest, if you have a line, every single line, you never read the first 3 words of that line, and you never read the last 3 words of that line. You only read the middle part of it. Then you will get the meaning of it. That is absolutely true, because I practice this and I experience, yes, it is very fast. So if you go to speed read, these are ideas that you can follow. And the next strategy I would suggest here is about visualize your reading. Visualizing. Now, when I say visualizing, you can see things. You can see things in your brain, visualizing them in an image, because the language of your brain is images, not words. When I say mango, okay, if someone knows English, they would understand what I mean. When I say mango, in your brain, the picture of a mango comes up, not the letter of a mango. You never get M-A-N-G-O, but you get a picture like this. That is what the language of brain, visual image. Okay, so when you say mango, if whoever they know language, English language, they would get the image in their brain. If you don't know the meaning of mango, if you don't know English, when I say mango, you would confuse yourself saying that I don't understand what you mean. So what do you mean by mango? Okay, because you don't know the language. But if I show the image of a mango to anyone in the world, you would understand what I mean. Because every brain knows what a mango is about, because it knows the image of it. They recognize it. But if you say in words, you will not recognize it if you don't know the language. But if you know the language, even when I say something, you get the image in your brain. This theory applies to you when you read things. When you read things, if you go faster, fine. But no point if you don't pick the message out of that reading. So that is why when you're reading about anything, if you're reading about some medical terminologies, if you're talking about legal terminologies or legal cases, if you're talking about some psychological theories, if you're talking about some business strategies or business principles, whatever it is, you grasp that meaning faster in terms of some image. Okay, when I say London, you never say London. You get the picture of the London Tower. You get the picture of London Eye, something like that. That will be in your brain. So if you read something, you visualize that message in terms of some image in your brain, and you will never forget what you read, because that image will never go off your brain. Okay, so visualize your reading. That will make your reading useful. Now, the next part of your reading is about focus. When you want to focus in reading, you need to have a good environment where you need to have enough lighting. If it is a device you're using, a Kindle or an iPad, you have to have the background light as well. You cannot rely on the screen light. Screen light will make it visible to you, but your eyes will get tired very soon. So what you do, you keep some lights around. Okay, so you have to have enough lighting. And you have to have a comfortable desk and a chair to sit down to read. Otherwise, you will get the body pain, neck ache, backache, and so on. So we need to have a proper desk to do this. And always take note of what you are reading. So keep a pen and a paper with you. And make sure there is no any background noises. Okay, so you have to have a clear, friendly reading environment so that you can focus on reading things. And next, there are books printed, there are books in PDF form, and there are audiobooks as well. Audiobooks are useful to you if you are driving long distance, or if you are traveling long distance, or if you don't have time to sit down with the book to read, you can play the book. Audiobooks are there. And most of the books, they publish in audio form as well. You can buy that audiobook. You can download that audiobook, and then you can listen to those books, audiobooks. That is one big strategy, because most of us, an average person in the world, they travel about 2 hours a day, daily. Morning 1 hour, evening 1 hour, or maybe altogether 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day. If you drive or travel in a public transport, or if you drive your own car, you cannot read because it's difficult. It's not comfortable to you. So what you do, you play an audiobook in your phone or in your device, and you listen to that book. You will be able to complete about 2 books per week, audiobooks, 2 big books per week. And on the other side, if you have some good PDF documents, there is another device or app called ebook reader. There are so many different apps. You can use those in your phones. And if you have the app, you upload your book and let the app read it for you. It will read it to you. If you don't have this audiobook, you can use this ebook reader. There are so many apps. There are so many free apps as well. So upload your documents, let the app read it for you. So you read about 2 hours per day daily. You will be able to complete 2 books. Okay, so that is the message that I wanted to convey today. Reading, you have strategies that can make your reading speed, that can accelerate your reading. We call these days speed reading, fast reading, accelerated reading, and we call it sometimes scanning, skimming, deep reading. There are different terminologies that we do. Okay, whatever it is, you need to read a lot, because if you have any problem to solve, the #1 consultant to solve your problem is you, because you know every single thing around that. If you hire a consultant to do things, you have to explain everything to him. That is when he would bring about a solution for you. And that is impossible. If you want to fight a case in the courts, you are the best lawyer than the lawyer that you appoint or who you appoint to speak your case of. If you want to do some business, you are the best consultant, because you know every single thing about your business than any other consultant who can help you to build your business. So that if you want to build your business, if you want to build your case in the courts, if you want to solve your problem, you need to develop your knowledge. To develop your knowledge, one of the best option is to read about that particular problem. And you have enough documents to read. Learning is just in your fingertip. You don't need to go to a university. You don't need to travel to any other destination. You don't need to meet anyone else. You don't need to go to any library. Everything is in your fingertip. You just got to sit down and start reading it. And you have to read it faster. You have to read it speed, then you can solve your problem. And the final message, I have said this to you, when are you going to start reading your book? Thank you very much for joining me today. And I see you again in another different topic. Have a great evening. Thank you.